Good morning, everyone. We are hiking to the Nolichucky River. However, my destination is just a bit further, so I think I have an 11.4 mile day today. It is 7 o'clock in the morning, and it is 20 degrees. So let's go. Good morning, everyone. So this is I think 900 foot ascent this morning, and a 2,600 something descent this afternoon. This is going to be an easier day of hiking. I'm really excited. I got started so early this morning, and it's kind of hard to do when you try to find a shuttle or you're staying in the shelter, and you know, if you want to get started at 6:37, that means you're waking everybody else up in the shelter as well, which kind of is not cool. Anyway, I'm excited for the day, and come on, let's go. Let's hike. You can hear the woodpecker. Okay, I'm hiking and I've come up to this road, and there's the blaze right there. So I am going to cross the street and continue on. Oh, well, this is interesting. That's got a road closed gate up. Let's see what's going on there. So not all the roads have been opened from the winter season yet, and clearly this is one of them. Okay, well, I don't go up on that road. I go here to the left. See the blaze up on the tree? The trail this morning has rhododendron and pine, oak, and maple. I haven't seen any beech trees. This is quite a combination this morning. It rained yesterday afternoon and last night, so the trail is wet, but it has not been super muddy yet. It's pretty cool this morning. I think the high today is 50. I'm not sure. I want you to look at this rhododendron right here and how it's full. And then if you come down here and these are flat, it's because those got colder and they kind of curl up whenever they are cold. Then when it warms up, they come back out and kind of fluff up. So I wanted to tell you a story, and it's about a lesson that I have relearned on this trip. When my kids were growing up, one of the things that I try to teach them is that for every decision that you make, there is a consequence. And consequence is not a bad word. A lot of people think that it is, but it's not. You know, every action, every decision, there's a consequence, and rarely, if ever, does it just affect you. It almost always affects you and at least one other person, and sometimes several people, in a good way or a bad way. It just depends on what the situation is. And so what I taught the kids was, you know, when you are in a situation where you need to make a decision and you're not sure what's right or wrong, let your conscience be your guide and go with what your gut is telling you, not what your head is telling you, because often your head is telling you that you want to go do something that you might not be supposed to do. In conjunction with that, I have relearned a lesson on this trip that I hadn't thought about for a while, in that, you know, when somebody tells you something and you react to what they say in a good way or a bad way, you know, try to always remember there are two sides to a story. And I'm going to give you an example of that. I'll do it with my kids, and then I'll do it with business. So with my kids, they would often come home when they were growing up and tell me something happened, and or somebody did something, or somebody said something, or they came home and they were upset about playing at somebody's house and something happened. You know, normal kid stuff. It's all normal. That's part of their job description, right? And I would say to them, and what else happened? Nothing. Are you sure nothing else happened? No, nothing else happened. That's what happened. I'd say, okay, well, I'm going to give you one opportunity to make sure that you're telling me everything, because I'm getting ready to go over there and talk with whoever's mom and talk with them. And if they tell me something that you've left out, you're the one that is actually going to be in trouble whenever I come home, because you left out information. You were being deceitful. Oh, well, wait a minute. And then they would sometimes, not always, but sometimes they would add an additional, little fact that was probably key to the problem. And I'd say, okay, and I'd still go over and talk to the other person. My kids always knew that I was going to follow up and find out the other side of the story. I never took my kids' word for most of anything. And it wasn't because I didn't trust them. It was because I was trying to teach them accountability. And that, when you say things, there are consequences. And the consequences could be that the other person got in trouble for something that they didn't do, or they didn't get in trouble for something that they should have, been maybe disciplined for in their own home. Well, it didn't take long for my kids to learn, after 2 or 3 times, that I was going to get the whole story regardless. And we didn't have a whole lot of problem with that in the house. Well, that translated over to having staff that I was responsible for managing. And often they would come to me and tell me they were having a problem with a coworker or some situation. And I was a very good listener, and would get all the facts, write them down, and repeat them back to make sure that I understood what they had said and that I had interpreted what they were saying properly. And they would say, yes, that's it. And I'd say, okay, now this is what's going to happen. I'm going to, in a little bit, I'm going to call that other person into my office, and we're going to have a talk, and I'm going to just ask them what happened with this situation. I'm not going to say anything that you told me. I'm just going to see how these stories aligned with each other. And before I do that, is there anything else that you'd like to add or maybe take away without any repercussion? So we can make sure that, the information that you shared is correct. About half the time, it stayed static. Okay, silk blaze. Spider. Sorry. And about 50% of the time, one or the other would change their story, add something, take away something, say, well, I didn't really mean it that way. I'd call the other person in and get all the information, and then we'd work out a solution to the problem. Well, here's how I want to relate it to what I've relearned. I've heard several stories up here from business owners that are in competition with other business owners, and they sometimes are not the most complimentary, and I've listened to them, and strangely enough, I've ended up in the company of the other person that they were talking about, and for whatever reason, in an organic way, I didn't ask questions, their side of the story came out, which I find very interesting for business owners to be sharing non-complimentary information with customers. As a customer service person, I just don't find that a very good standard operating procedure. Anyway, that happened this morning, and I got the other half of a story that I had heard several days ago. It reminded me of when I was raising my kids. So my point in sharing this is, especially for Emma Ryland Ford, Julian Axel, Whit Shep, and whoever else, there are always two sides to a story, and one may be 95.5 and the other may be 30-70 true. But there's always another side of the story, and not to jump to conclusions or take another person's side until you get all the information and the facts. I think this would probably be a much better world if we did that just in general across the board. Just felt compelled to share that this morning after getting the other half of the story, and it just reminded me of the kids and my business practices. So hopefully that will help somebody. Good morning, everybody. So I am slack packing today, and on my way I met this lovely gentleman who is the very last of the 2022 SOBO hikers. His name is No Rush. And so why don't you tell me what your No Rush name came from?
My wife thought it was because I wasn't going to listen to Rush Limbaugh, and I said it was just because I wasn't in a hurry. And to update what Nana said, I am the SLOBO 2223. I started on the 9th of July with my son. We hiked together for 8 months. Then he took off and went from tent potato to hot potato and finished up on Springer on Sunday. He's on his way to Mongolia to serve in the Peace Corps for 2 years.
That is so cool. That is awesome. That is an awesome thing. And this gentleman, even though his hair does not indicate so, was in the Air Force. Did you say you retired from the Air Force?
I served 40 years as a cadet, airman, and civilian.
Oh, my word. So he said that he's growing his hair out for...
Well, I thought I would walk for charity, but I didn't want to pester people, so I'm raising locks for love.
Locks for love. He is a character. And so when he finishes his hike, he and his wife are going to be going back to live in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
So he said he lived there for
14 already.
14 already.
Yeah.
And he has 3 sons?
4 sons and a daughter. 3 have served in the Peace Corps. 4 have served in the USO. 4 have served missions throughout the world for their church.
That
so we're just an international family.
That is incredible. Okay, now I want you to end on, I want you to share that joke with me again.
Okay.
It's the worst joke ever, people.
Okay, so what's your husband's name?
My husband's name is Stacy.
Stacy. I understand you're a honorable Marine, so simplify. But this is the only clean joint joke I know, and it will date me because it goes back to the first Gulf War. There was a grunt in his foxhole over in Iraq, and he said, "Man, this really stinks over here." And the next to him was Stacy in his foxhole, the Marine, and he says, "Man, I love how it stinks over here." By the way, I'm using stinks because we have, we don't know who our audience is, so we'll keep it G-rated.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So next to Stacy is a special operator, some Delta dude or SEAL, and he says, "Man, I wish it stunk here more." Then out in the Gulf, you got the squid looking through his porthole, and the sailor says, "Boy, I'll bet it stinks over there." And then you had me. I happen to be a member of the Air Force, and I'm sitting in my lounging chair at the Hilton, and I said, "What? No cable? This stinks."
Is that the worst joke you've ever heard? Oh, my God.
But it's joint. It is a purple joke.
Oh,
it's a joint joke.
All right, one last thing about this gentleman. So I want you to look here.
This is not a skirt, in spite of what Nana says. This is a hiking kilt.
I saw him at Uncle Johnny's, and I said, "I like your skirt," and he reprimanded me immediately, but in a very kind way, and said it's a kilt. So just wanted to point that out, people. If you see a man hiking in a skirt, don't say that. It's a kilt.
That's correct.
Okay. Well, it was nice. Thank you for letting me interview you.
My pleasure.
I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
All right. Safe travels.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Even though these leaves have not, I believe these are, what are those? Those are maple leaves. I believe that's a maple tree. I love the color of the leaves up against this green background. It's very pretty. This is the pathway. No Rush was quite a character. He was very funny, very sweet man. This goes down, down, down. These trees are very tall. Just keep going and going and going. That is the most beautiful blue sky. In my video yesterday, I asked for suggestions for other words, other superlative words to describe things I was seeing. And boy, did you all give me a lot of responses. So, I'm going to incorporate some of those today. This is a splendid water source. Splendid indeed. Y'all crack me up. So I'm coming up on a shelter, and I'm not sure what shelter this is. I haven't looked at my map. Since I wasn't staying at a shelter, I really wasn't paying too much attention to this. But we'll walk over there and check that out. They have a fire pit. I don't see any bear hangs. You can clearly hang your backpacks, and it looks like it will sleep. It looks like it will sleep maybe 6. Somebody left their clothes here, and their fuel, and their bear spray. Okay. And they have a graffiti board as well. So this says, in memory of Arnold W. Berry, lifelong resident of Irwin, Tennessee, first to achieve 1,000 volunteer hours, proudly maintaining height number 33, Spivey Gap to no business knob shelter. That's nice. Oh, somebody also left their water purifying tablet. I don't know if you can tell how everything is greening up. All the buds are coming out on the trees. It is a beautiful day today. Sunny, the slightest breeze. It's cold, but my fingers don't feel like popsicles anymore like they did first thing this morning. funny how dark this is. The camera isn't really showing it as being that dark, but it is. It's almost like walking through here at nighttime. And I just came from pure sunlight into this dark tunnel, and the camera is correcting the color, but it's very dark. Up to a sign. Let's see what this says. Appalachian Trail, no business knob shelter, 2.5 miles back. That's where we were, and we have 4 more miles to go to the Nolichucky River. Wow. So this just comes around and then goes down that way. What a gorgeous view. Look at all of this old man's beard. I think that's old man's beard. Or maybe it's just this darker green that's a lighter green and hasn't turned yet. If you all know what that is, would you let me know? So I'm getting ready to come off the trail, and this is the Nolichucky River. When you come off the trail, which is right here, and you come around onto the pavement, you just walk up here to where the stop sign is, and right across the street there, that is Uncle Johnny's. Here you go. This is Uncle Johnny's Hostel. And they have barbecue pit out here. They've got picnic tables out here. They have wood to be able to burn in a pit fire in the middle of the complex. They have bikes that you can borrow. They've got lots of shoes that have been donated. They've got a couple of drink machines. And here is their hiker box pantry donation area. This is the hostel. There is no doorknob on the bunkhouse. And This is the bunkhouse. Come around this way. We've got a little table. This is a shared cabin with, I believe, 2 bunk beds in it. This is cabin J. Those are restrooms. This has got a couple of bunk beds in it. And this is the common area. Hey, this is Stillwell's Coffee House. They have a little area in here. Where you can make coffee. It's a microwave. There's some, I don't know what's in there. They have bananas here. Steve, the shuttle driver, brings those bananas and leaves them every morning. People just kind of hang out in here. This is the original Uncle Johnny. He has passed away. And Drew and Terry are the people that run this place now. So this place is kind of a live wire. The music plays all the time. And there is tent camping out here. Over here, people can hang their hammocks, be able to hammock camp here. Somebody's tent. And then this cabin here is the cabin that Renee and I stayed in. It's a 1-bedroom cabin. And the living room has a twin bed and a sofa. There's another campfire. Here is where the washer and dryer are, and it's pretty interesting because it was pouring down rain last night. I was doing the laundry. Now the rain was coming in on top of the washer and dryer as I was doing the laundry. Kind of freaked me out a little bit about using the dryer in the pouring down rain, but that's what they have. 1 washer and dryer. And then you come around and they have a bathhouse, community bathhouse. So this is the women's, that's the men's. They have their graffiti board. Let's go see if we can look inside. I'm good. How are you doing? I will. This is the shower, community shower room. Here's the shower area. I'm not sure how well I'm going to get this. They've got these lights up here. There's a couple of showers. They have loaner clothes and then a place to get cleaned up over here. Y'all take care, and I'll see you in my next video.